All right, now we will start setting up our fall off asset that will be able to pick up the transformation data and everything inside here and just ripple it all out. So first we'll start with just an empty geo here. And what we're going to do is build a SOP tool, so this can just stay however we need it to. And we're just going to make a box, just something so that we have a lot of points in here, and we'll do a points from volume, just to scatter a bunch of points inside here. We'll do a jitter scale of 1, and we'll give us kind of a bit of points to work with. Something like 0.06, 0.05, something like that is fine. Okay, so we're going to deal with a lot of transformation stuff just because it's going to make this much more versatile so that we don't have to just work in world space where nothing is parented to anything. We actually want to be able to have this object here be part of a rig and then have our points be part of a rig and have everything just work correctly. So what we're going to need to do is a little bit of matrix stuff. So first we're going to go in and do a attribute wrangle here. And we're going to put this to detail mode because I only want this to execute one time. I don't want it to execute once for every single point that's in here because it's expensive to just go and grab the transformation matrices for every single point. We don't really need to do that. We just need to do this operation one time. So I'm just going to call this here setup, something like that. And eventually this stuff actually will be encapsulated here into a subnetwork. So why don't we start this off? We already have something in here for setup, and we'll just start this off as our digital asset. So we will call this fall off SOP, or just fall off again here. And let me make sure that we are not overwriting our current things. So we have fall off controller, and we can just call this fall off SOP. That's fine. All right, I'm going to go into our parameters here, and nothing's here, which is great. So we do need to point it to the fall off object. So I'm going to have something here called fall off object. And this is just an operator path. Click apply and accept. And what we'll do is point that to the main subnet up here. And this is just going to serve as a reference for us to be calling in this vex expression here. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste a relative reference, and that's okay if that fails because we haven't said exactly what we are doing. So we're going to create a matrix attribute, so that's a for at, and we can call this fall off m, fall off matrix. And we want to use a function called op transform. And basically what that is going to do is give us a transformation matrix. So if I go to my detail view here, I have this thing fall off matrix, and right now it's giving us this thing called the identity matrix because this object hasn't been translated at all. But you can see as I start to translate it, we're getting changing values in here. And when I scale it, a bunch of other things are going to happen. And when I rotate it as well, a bunch of other things are going to happen. You don't really need to know what's happening in here to use this stuff, although it is good to know what it is. But for now, you don't really need to know what's happening there. Just know that what we're doing is basically storing the global world transformation data of this object. So if this gets parented into something, we're storing that. If it's moving around in space, if it's rotated and skewed and scaled, we can get all that information. And it's all stored right here. So we're also going to need our own transformation matrix. And I'll call that myM. That's another op transform. And this time we're just going to point directly to ourselves. So we're going to go up to the parent subnet and then up one more. And that should be us. And let's just confirm that by looking at the spreadsheet. And we'll find myM here. I'm going to move the geo around. And I can see that my values are updating. So that is sorted out. And then I'm going to want to be able to store the inner and outer radius as well. So those are floats. Actually, attributes, we're going to store those at. And we're just going to channel reference from the falloff object here. So we want the channel, which is going to be this falloff object here, plus inner. I can see that inner now is set to 0.27, and we'll verify that. But we also want outer as well. So here we see inner is changing and outer is changing. So we've just gotten both of those. And let's go ahead and save that.